it's me here, the TheUKExpat, and on today's episode we're going to be checking out the 3 famous museums here in Kensington, London. Starting off with the one right behind me, the Natural History Museum. Let's do this! I made my way into the grand entrance of the Natural History Museum. And behind me we have the famous blue whale of the Natural History Museum. I admired the blue whale known as Hope. She was discovered off the coast of Ireland in 1891. Next stop in the grand entrance of the museum was this impressive statue of a mammoth. The next thing I admired was this incredible capybara. The next thing I admired was this display featuring armadillos from the Americas. The next part of the museum was the dinosaur exhibit. This shows the dinosaur Stegosaurus. And then check this life-size T-Rex out. How incredible is this? After hanging with the dinos, I decided the next stop would be to the famous volcanoes and earthquakes exhibition. Here it is, the famous earthquake simulator. After experiencing an earthquake, it was time for me to head up the road to the next museum of the day, the Science Museum. I wandered through the halls of the Science Museum until I arrived at this exhibition about pandemics and quarantine. I then came across this exhibit about the COVID pandemic. Crazy to think that this was now 3 years ago and that we'd lived through history. Then it was time for a childhood favorite of mine, the aviation section. And here we are in the aviation section of the Science Museum. Right behind me, we have the Hurricane aircraft, and behind it, the Spitfire aircraft. Check them out. So, that is everything for today. The museum's actually shut at 6 p.m. So we weren't able to make it into the V&A, which is the museum behind me. That's much more of the arts and cultural style one, as opposed to the more sciencey ones that I've been into earlier today. And I've got a bit of a side quest. I'm planning to go to an Uzbek restaurant. Yes, that's Uzbekistani food. So we're gonna now head over there. Stay tuned. Before heading to the Uzbek restaurant, I decided to explore the streets. I noted that the Tunisian embassy was nearby, right next to the Thai embassy. I wandered through the streets, and before I knew it, somehow I was right outside of the world-famous Harrods store. I took a minute to admire the Lamborghinis and Supercars that had parked outside of Harrods for the day's shopping. Pretty cool, eh? Parked among all the supercars, there were 2 cars that stood out. These both had Kuwaiti license plates. This is a 1990 Nissan Skyline, a true vintage. These 2 cars had driven all the way from Kuwait. After admiring the automobiles parked outside, it was time to head into the Harrods department store and admire a few pieces of clothing that were a little bit beyond my budget. After Harrods, it was time to make my way to the Uzbek restaurant. The route to the restaurant took me through the world-famous Hyde Park. Only in London can you find a Brazilian, a Moroccan, an Indonesian, and an Uzbek restaurant all under the same roof. Let's do this! So the destination was Uzbek Corner up here in Queensway/Paddington. The menu contained several Eastern European staples, such as plov, pilmeni, and borscht. There seemed to be a bit more of a Central European take. There were many lamb dishes, kebabs, noodles, and a Uyghur-style soup. I asked the server, who I also thought was the business owner, for his recommendation of the most popular dish. He recommended the plov. This is rice, which was slow cooked in a broth, alongside lamb, carrots, and peas. Yep, so far my first ever Uzbek experience is going down pretty well. I'm loving the plov. The atmosphere in here is very good. It's quite homely. It's got great traditional artwork up on the walls, and I'm loving the food. I polished that meal off so easily. That was really good food. So if you're looking to try something different in London, I recommend try some good old Uzbek cuisine here at Uzbek Corner in Paddington. It's not every day that you try food from Uzbekistan. One of the best things about London is the incredible gastronomic scene and the diversity of cuisines available. And that's all for this episode. It would really mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed to my channel for more awesome content.